And if we want to have a conversation about service academies, which are not the same thing as enlistment recruiters, like it's just not the same thing. They're two different things. But if we want to have a conversation about that, that's fine. That is different than spreading a false rumor that's so exaggerated that it literally leads to random adults trying to enter a high school today.
How you doing? My name is Danny Shaw. I coached basketball for 3 years on the Lehman High School campus.
Hello, my name is Deborah, and I was one of the protesters and organizers for the demonstration in front of the Bronx Renaissance High School last Monday, March 20th. I actually live in the Bronx near Parkchester in AOC's district, and my heritage is Puerto Rican and Dominican.
I'm Dean Knight, a veteran of several years teaching in South Bronx high schools.
Hi, my name is Jose Alfaro. I'm a retired New York City public school teacher and social worker, as well as a member of a team of educators that founded Fannie Lou Hamer Freedom High School in the South Bronx in 1994. I'm also a resident of the Bronx.
My name's Clark Copeland. I'm a Bronx resident, veteran and teacher here in the Bronx.
My name is Siu-Hin Lee. I'm the national coordinator of the National Immigrant Solidarity Network and the China-US Solidarity Network. I was the former sweatshop worker from Los Angeles, low-wage worker all the time in this country.
Hello, my name is Richie Marino. I'm a Bronx public school teacher, uncle to 2 nephews in the New York City public school system. I'm an anti-war and anti-imperialist activist and community organizer. AOC, I'm also a former supporter and volunteer. I went to your first canvassing event in Astoria Park in June 2017 and knocked doors for you because you said you were going to fight to get military recruiters out of our schools.
Hi, I'm Alice Stern-Sutter. I'm a retired family nurse practitioner, and I worked in the Bronx for many years and live in Inwood. I'm a member of the Raging Grannies and the Granny Peace Brigade. We work for peace and do anti-recruitment work at our local high schools.
I've lived in the Bronx about 25 years, probably longer than AOC. I was an early supporter of AOC, so I was dismayed by the lies she told on Instagram. I was at the protest. We all witnessed the military presence. Most of us were Bronx and none a safety concern. Instead, we were women and people of color speaking up against real dangers.
Hello, my name is Lucy. I am a current Bronx resident and former graduate of PS19 in Corona, Queens, where AOC is also a representative.
What do we want? Recruiters out. When do we want it? Now.
We protested this past Monday because we saw so many military recruiters who over the years have continually preyed upon our youth. When you look at every U.S. invasion, Iraq, Afghanistan, every U.S. hybrid war on Ukraine, on Russia, on Syria, on Libya, it's always our children, our young people, black and brown and poor whites who are dying.
This was a military fair. AOC is gaslighting when she said it was not. If you look at the flyer, the venues that were available were the Naval, the Air Force, the military academies, the Merchant Marine, and the Department of Education. There was no venues there for vocational training or other colleges.
I was shocked to see last Monday officers from several military academies preying on students at Renaissance High School, and dismayed, terribly upset to see a supposedly progressive politician defending this kind of predatory activity and denouncing parents, teachers, veterans, and others who were opposed to the idea that it's okay for recruiters to go into the high schools to offer students a false future as killers and victims of unjust U.S. wars across the world.
I was there early, and I said that I wanted to get in. I wanted to take notes. I'm involved with an organization. I didn't tell them, we are not your soldiers. Wanted to try to find a teacher. A giant sign of AOC, a giant picture when you walk in the lobby. 2 colonels entered while I was there. Also, they were handing this out. U.S. Naval Academy, U.S. Air Force, U.S. Military Academy, Merchant Marines, Coast Guard Academy. And so it is obvious the whole lobby was filled with uniformed people, with cops, and with officers of the military. There were Army people. They were bringing in all of the papers. Shame to AOC to connect with this. Unfortunately, they told me that they changed the rules. At first they said I could get in once all the students were seated, but then they said I had to leave.
I got to take part in the anti-recruitment rally at Renaissance High School. While there, we spoke to a former Marine colonel who shared that he's not a recruiter, but he was there simply to give information about the military academies that were present. Now, let's be clear. Recruitment is not only about folks signing up. Recruitment's also highlighting the opportunities that are not available here in our communities that the military is able to provide.
My name is Mohammed Latifu, one of the brothers of Abdul Muqsitu Latifu. It's a sad story. A young man who was just beginning to embark on his future to be taken away from us at a young age. He recently just joined the military back in 2021, but unfortunately, one of his roommates decided to just end his life. Yes, at Fort Rucker, Alabama. He had just turned 21 years old. January 3rd. 2 months has gone by. We're yet to get any answers from the military.
We are disappointed that you are using your celebrity status to funnel Bronx youth into the U.S. war machine. We are disappointed in you for smearing the Bronx Antiwar Coalition as a group of outside agitators and predators. We know that the only predators at Renaissance High School on March 20th were the military recruiters you were rubbing elbows with inside. We are disappointed that you chose to sneak into and out of the military recruitment fair through side doors to avoid answering questions from your constituents. We are disappointed that you sent a colonel from the U.S. Marines out to address us and act as your mouthpiece.
When I hear AOC organized, sponsored, and spoke at a military equipment event at the poor community of color of the Bronx, I was feel outrageous. AOC, you don't have to do this. We have so much trust and faith on you on anti-war, Green New Deal, and better for the future of American society and for the people of color, and you did not deliver the promise. Everyone knows U.S. military-industrial complex is a killing war machine, sending people of color, recruiting people of color youth in this country to kill and destroy everyone around the world.
This past weekend, I demonstrated both in Washington, D.C. and in New York City to end the threats from NATO and to call for a ceasefire and negotiations in the war on Ukraine. On Monday, when I learned that a student service fair was planned stressing military, Air Force, Naval, and Merchant Marine academies, I felt obliged to bring an anti-recruitment message. I held a sign that said, "Let's bring our youth green jobs and peace, not war and militarization." I gave out flyers from peaceinukraine.org. We were prevented from entering the fair, and many came and went through a different door, but I did see and meet many very distinguished-looking military personnel entering and exiting.
What I saw at the so-called Student Services Fair was a full-blown military recruitment event. At one point, a colonel actually came to talk to us about how he helped a rookie bring his mom from Mexico. The military is being sold to our community as one of the few solutions to our immigration problems, our lack of affordable housing, healthcare, and education, and long-term issues like systemic redlining in the Bronx. We were there to inform students that there are other options to get an affordable education, options like college abroad, trade school, and local scholarship programs that I myself have benefited from. I also brought a friend with me who is a recruiter from the Elam School of Medicine in Cuba, which offers 10 annual scholarships a year and graduates more African American doctors than any university in the United States.
If we don't get it, shut it down.
We demand you publicly reiterate that military recruiters, including those from U.S. service academies, have no place in our schools, and to reiterate the call to get cops and military recruiters out of our schools. We also demand justice for Abdul Latifu, Vanessa Guillen, Ana Fernanda Basaldua Ruiz, and all other Black, Latino, and Indigenous youth murdered on U.S. military bases. We also demand you publicly acknowledge that the U.S. military is the world's largest polluter And any climate legislation that does not include a reduction in military spending is not a legitimate solution to the climate crisis.
As a Puerto Rican and as an educator, I'm calling on Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez to renounce her support of a school program at Lehman High School building that promoted that students choose the military as a career option. Today, many families, particularly families of color, are fighting to survive. They don't have money for food. They don't have money for health care. They don't have money to pursue education beyond high school. And they don't have money to pay the rent. That's why the number of homeless students is so high today and expected to go higher. And the South Bronx is one of the poorest areas in the country. Today, public education systems can't meet the needs of its working class and students of color. Classes are too large, teachers and resources too few and too poorly paid. Useless testing takes the place of learning. And we have far too few counselors. When students are failed by the educational system, many will turn to the military as a viable job option. Not that they want to go off and kill other oppressed people in other countries for U.S. capitalism or get killed themselves fighting for the rich. But young people of color often don't have career options, which force them to move towards the military.
To AOC, to every politician, bring in job opportunities. I'm a professor at CUNY and John Jay College of Criminal Justice. We need more scholarships like the Black Panther Party for Self-Defense, that an education is truly relevant to our young people, to our communities.
AOC needs to stop lying, stop hiding, and embrace transparency. To repair the harm she's caused, she should, 1. Release unedited videos of all speeches at the event. Hers, Adriano Espaillat, and every single recruiter. If what they said was so beneficial, the public should hear it too. 2. Provide equal support to an anti-recruiting event at Renaissance High School, also elsewhere in the Bronx. That should feature anti-war groups like Veterans for Peace and We Are Not Your Soldiers. Last but far from least, take action to assist the families of fallen soldiers AOC refused to listen to. That includes Private Abdul Latifu, Vanessa Guillen, and Ana Basal Dua Ruiz. The Bronx deserves that. We all do.
This is absurd. And it's sickening. So anybody who was thinking about enlisting their kid to the military, I think you better think again. Don't do it. I wouldn't.
Study abroad for free.
Exactly. Don't do it, because I wouldn't. I wouldn't even dare ask my kids, friends, anybody to join the military. Any sector. I don't care what it is, what they're doing to quote unquote serve protect the country, because they're not. They're killing your own. They're molesting these women that go over there, these kids, young men and women that go over there, sexually harass them, and then kill them. Then try to cover it up. And then they'll tell you sorry for what happened, our condolences. No, keep your condolences. We want answers. That's what we want.
Just a day after the 20-year anniversary of the Iraq War, to have military recruiters be there targeting our youth. If you want to provide for our youth, like you were saying in your response to our action, I say to you, give these youth some town hall. Give them the voice to be able to let you know what they need. Don't decide for them and think that you know what's best. Because otherwise, I have not seen where you announce any town halls for them to be able to let you know what they want to see in their schools. And not only thinking about what they're going to have afterwards, but also town halls for them to say, what do they want to see in their schools now? What do they want to see in their communities? We need to give them more voice.
Hey, my name is Adaria Jones, and I live in the Bronx. I'm a mom of 3. I do have a problem with this job fair that was hosted by AOC. Now, there are tons of amazing jobs that you can get without a college degree. So if you don't think that your child is ready for school, or your child doesn't seem like he's college material, it's okay, because there's a lot of vocational programs and vocational jobs that we need help on. But sending kids to war, especially a war that they have no knowledge of, or knowledge of who started, or what is not even their war, and then they're going to come back here and face the same atrocities and police brutality and racism, systemic racism that they would before they went to war.
The military is just preying on these young people because many of these young people don't have a lot of opportunities. The United States needs to start investing in education and the youth of this country, and not wars.
this has got to stop. It's absolutely wrong and a shocking level of dishonesty to denounce those of us who would go to the schools to stop this kind of predatory activity. We have to offer a genuine and positive future to our students that would include free higher education for as high as they could go, training for jobs, providing jobs, also giving them opportunities to learn about the world in a genuine way, not with a weapon in their hands.
Students need a real education that prepares them for well-paying jobs. That doesn't include the military, which provides dead-end jobs in more ways than one. AOC, as well as everyone in public education who supports the military as an option, with the military target particularly on students of color. You do not have the right to call yourself educators or fighters for the people. You should only call yourself a promoter of a death machine that promotes war throughout the world. I call on the community and progressive educators to stop militarizing the schools and adequately fund education, not war. Money for jobs, not for war. Join us in our fight for jobs and an end to war and racism.
My demand, not just from AOC, but from other representatives at the local level, include the following. 1. To stop insinuating that members of our community are outside agitators and predators outside of school. 2. To confront the massive amount of spending on foreign wars when we have unsolved problems here at home. 3. To stop using the word misinformation to stifle dissent from people that AOC disagrees with when it is her and other politicians that engage most frequently in misinformation. Misinformation about us, about our intentions, about who we are. And to inform AOC that she is not the eternal victim, but the former recipient of our votes and our support, which we will be happy to take back in the future should she continue to smear us. 4. To remind AOC that freedom of speech is for everyone, not just for women and people of color, but that she is using tokenism and her position in the government to smear both women and people of color, which is disgusting. Finally, to make the point that there is no bigger predator than the Democratic Party itself, which comes into our community with promises of change, only to corrupt former activists like AOC herself with speaking gigs, lobbying opportunities, and military recruitment kickbacks. If AOC cared at all about us, she would re-register independent in the state of New York, and I would like to ask other local representatives to do the same.
We don't need another soldiers or military trainings or weapon industrial complex for people of color community to join and does not benefit us at all. So, AOC, if you are honorable, you should not just stay away from us, not talk to us, but just act like a Trump calling us liars. You should more honorable coming to us, have a good, honest discussion about the counter-military equipment, anti-war machine, and anti-US war around the world.